What's up, YouTube? This is One Way, back with another video. Today I'm going to speak about these people that come through in the chats and stuff that try to feed off your energy and then go and make lives and say that you're over here talking about them just because they're over there talking about you and you respond about them. You know what I'm saying? Now, there's a lot of these people out here that have been doing it. I've been noticing, especially in the Fillmoe Saga situation. I got some of these people out here like there's that guy from like San Diego, for example. I've seen him, he's been around for a while, but he hasn't really been in the mix. But I see like his channel ain't getting no motion or something, so he wants to include us in it, you know what I'm saying? Wiggle his way up in it and start mentioning names. And shout out to Shanier. I know you brought her up a few times, hoping that'll build up your channel, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I understand the play, but you got to understand people like Shanier, she got real people defending her and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? It's not my fault you ain't got nobody defending people like y'all, like. Or you got that one dude. I seen that dude that popped out of a hole. What's that dude? Hater Reg or something like that? I don't know where that dude popped out. There's people like them. You know, they come out of the hole and they start attaching themselves like a sucker to everybody and start using their names and for clout, for example. You know what I'm saying? That's the real definition of chasing clout. Like, for example, Superstar. You know, you've been up in your car for a minute begging and bumming. And it was one night I was feeling bad for you, you know. You had me reeled in real good. But then you slipped up because you pulled out a blunt, and then you also pulled out a box of KFC and started eating that and bragging about how you had 10,000 subscribers. But I was like, man, even though you had that puppy face look, you know what I'm saying, I was feeling bad. I said, man, this guy, I see the play too, you know what I'm saying? You got enough money to buy KFC and roll around your car and hate on people and see, you got treated all the time, so you know what I'm saying? You be smoking good, so that ain't free. So I see you got money. You just ain't investing it wisely and spending it wisely, you know what I'm saying? So if you go attack Shanier, for example, just know she got people that are gonna come and defend her and stuff like that. Like me, for example. There's a lot of people that will come to her defense. You know, I don't know who's coming to your defense. Like I said, that hater Reg guy who he's like a little what do you call it? Like that little weasel on what's that Ice Age cartoon or one of them shows and shit that just, you know what I mean? He's like one of them dudes and shit. I don't even know how he manifested into the mix. He was, like I said, he was probably one of them commenters like all y'all and shit. There's a lot of you guys that just be in the mix, stirring up all kinds of drama and stuff. Yeah, you know, he be playing both sides. I see him over there hating over there, then he'll be over at my channel saluting me, then he'll be back over there hating and laughing, and he'll be back over at my channel, and then he'll be over another person's channel. Man, you know, I look around and I see a lot of stuff going on. I don't comment and stuff because I just like to see what's going on and what's being said, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna be stupid and be ignorant of what's going on in the mix. It's people like, for example, like that one guy who got a couple channels out there, a big hater out here, who sidewinded his way in. The guy that came in first, hating being a troll, who thought he could latch himself to real life and was over there Cuddy. You know, he was even talking about the other day, man, who's this one-way guy coming through when I'm over here? I think he was trying to like do a burial for Cuz Cuddy that day, and I came through and I told him, man, stop hating on Cuz Cuddy in real life TV. And he just made a video the other day talking about who's this troll coming through talking about hating on Cuz Cuddy. Shit, I've been here and shit. That's why, if you're gonna hit on my folks like Shanier, Cuddy, real life, I'm finna come through and say, stop hating on them and shit, for example. It's you guys that want to say, pull up and all that stuff like that be taking it there. You know what I'm saying? I ain't the one that be taking it there. I know you guys. I know you guys just play and stuff. Like my hat says, you guys just trying to step up to the upper playground and shit. There's a bunch of little kids out here trying to make a name for yourself and shit. That's why you guys attach yourself like the JT. You know what I'm saying? People like that, hoping that that'll try to get you some motivation. And it does help you guys' channel. But you guys can only clout chase so much. You know what I'm saying? You guys got to just stand up on your own and shit. Be your own soldier and just man up and do your own thing. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing my own thing. I don't even be getting in the mix and all this BS for too long. Unless I see some slick attacks or something like that, then I'll jump in and be like, hold up. You know what I'm saying? Because if you guys, like I said, you guys want to come play up in the upper playground, just know that people like me are going to speak and we're going to keep it 100 out here. We ain't going to like be out here, be yipping and yapping and doing all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Calling people out and telling people to meet up that we don't even know. It's just funny. It's funny to me. I get a big laugh out. Shout out to Real Life. Shout out to Cuddy. Shout out to Mob Type. Shout out to Pew. Shout out to Pew TV. He's out here trying to make an earn. He's been out here making an earn. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people out here be hating on him. Is these suckers out here that try to latch on, like I said, that Hater Reg guy and that superstar guy, San Diego dude. You know what I mean? I've been seeing him out here for a minute. Like I said, I almost came through. I was feeling bad one night. I was gonna drop him a little pocket change, but then I seen him switch up real quick and start hating, talking about how you guys just come through, you guys ain't nobody and stuff like that. And I was like, hold up, you're the one's been in a car for a year and you're gonna talk about other people and shit. You know what I'm saying? Let's just keep it 100. It's funny. These YouTube streets, I get a kick out of it. And like I said, once in a while, I'll be in the mix. I'll mingle. You know what I'm saying? I ain't afraid. I ain't here tucking my tail. So anybody who want to talk about me and want to hate on me, there's a few big ass anacondas out there that want to hate on me. I'll come through and speak my mind. You know what I'm saying? I ain't afraid. It's these guys that just try to step in sideways and make a name for themselves. I think what it is they peeped that big foe dude come in and try to do that. And that's why these other guys say, oh, let me see if we can do that. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if we could latch onto these guys and shit like a barnacle on a big whale. You know what I mean? Like them little sharks you see. You're like, there's a great white out there, and it's always them little sucker sharks and shit that hang around and get the scraps and stuff like that. It's these guys that trying to make a name for themselves. Imagine one of them little sharks saying that. Just that they is the great white. You know what I'm saying? It's just funny. It's just funny. You guys just got to keep it 100 out here. You know what I mean? We all see what it is for what it is. And it just gets hysterical. There's a lot of you people out here that really think you be fooling people, but we just, once in a while, we just go along with it. We'll let you guys get your heads all swole up and shit just so we can come through and kind of like deflate it real quick and let you know who you really is. You know what I mean? I don't want to go too hard on certain people right here. I know people want to go hard on me and shit, but there's certain people out here that I just let them be and shit. You know, constantly calling me out, talking about me and cats and stuff like that. But just know I ain't your partner and shit. You know what I mean? I ain't your partner. So don't think that that's gonna work and shit. You know, at one time maybe you was cool and shit until I seen the true colors. And that's what happens, shit. Once I see your true colors and shit, I just gotta back off and shit. You know, I'm that type. Sometimes shit, I'll be cool with you hard for a minute and shit. But once I start to see some fugazi and some weirdo shit or some flip flopping shit, I'll back off. You know what I mean? That's my time. I ain't tripping. I do my own things. You guys see my videos? I ain't trying to like be all in the mix and clout chase and try to drop names and you know what I mean? Shout out to JT. A lot of you guys be using him. Hopefully you guys get some momentum. And see, I ain't the type to do that. I ain't gonna make no videos on him. And I see he be doing this thing. I've been, you know, I'm from California and he's from California, so obviously I've been knowing how he moves for a minute. In fact, I was on there before he even flew to Africa when he was already beefing with some Bay Area cats out here. And rest in peace to Roasta out there. You know what I'm saying? Roasta Zoe. You know, he was beefing with him at the time. He was beefing with Jay Diggs. And next thing I know, he shout out to Africa. You know, shout out to Mr. Fab too. Me and Mr. Fab even got into it over fucking JT. JT don't even know that. Mr. Fab and I was bumping heads because, you know, I told him, man, that's not cool that you called your dude to come over there and slap JT like that. You know what I mean? And he was like, man, I didn't do that. I wouldn't do that. And I was like, it's just a weird coincidence. A weird coincidence. You know what I mean? Someone made that phone call or someone did something to let that guy know that JT was there for a minute. Because JT, he be wiggling around. He don't be in too many places for too long. So for somebody to know that he was there, someone dropped that dime, you know what I'm saying? And it was just sad to see that guy, how he was talking about how he slapped JT. And it's just me being a man, you know what I'm saying? That's just, you don't talk about slapping another dude because there'd be consequences for that, you know what I'm saying? He's lucky JT didn't lash out on him, you know what I'm saying? JT just played it cool, you know what I mean? And look what happened and shit. JT ended up flying out to Africa and just shit ends up happening the way it does. Rest in peace to Zoe, you know what I'm saying? But that's how the universe works out here, you know what I mean? The universe is what actually runs everything, you know what I mean? We're just all little people like playing up in the universe, you know what I mean? But actually the universe is what runs the show, you know what I mean? Yeah, we all characters and we all doing our things out here, but don't get it twisted. When the universe want to shut us down, it can shut us down real quick. And we all know that. Rest in peace to R.I.P. Jacka, you know what I mean? There's a lot of good people out here that just go unexpectedly. So don't think that you out here invincible and stuff like that. And you know what I mean? I don't think that none of us definitely on the upper playground is clout chasing y'all. That's one thing we don't do out here. You know what I mean? Well, I don't. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I don't. I just be doing my own thing. And like I said, once in a while I'll come through and address some issues or respond to some BS that I be seeing. Certain people, I just don't respond to them, you know what I mean? Like that big anaconda dude and shit that wiggled his way in. You know what I mean? I don't be responding to people like that. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to make a name for themselves and shit. That's why they got to pay other people to make interviews and stuff like that. And you know what I mean? And they got to do burials of Cuddy and real life TV and stuff like that. Me, I ain't never done no shit like that. I ain't never done nothing like that. Me, I do my own thing. If you guys watch my videos, I'll be out there at the boardwalk going across. You know, if you guys watch that video, go watch that video of me going across. Shit, brought my heights of, or being scared of heights back a little bit too, man. Kind of a little cold sweat up there. It's funny, man. The girl came across from the other way and she was like, "Are you scared?" I was thinking, damn, do I look scared up here or some shit? I was like, how'd she know I was like feeling some type of way up there? I was like just wanting to get that shit over with, to be honest with y'all. Even though I was playing it smooth, talking in the video, you know what I mean? You know, but I looked up the statistics or whatever, and no one ever dropped off that thing or nothing. So the odds is good, because I know millions have been going across that thing. But it's just a mind thing, you know. It's like that Final Destination. We all got that Final Destination thing up in our mind. I got that shit locked in. Sometimes I'll be flying in the plane and I'll be like, man, you know, everybody has our moments. We all have our moments, whether it be in a car or doing your thing in the yard or just sleeping or whatever. We all have our moments when we all finna pass from this life. So you got to figure you don't know what your moment is, and situations like that just kind of like enhance them thoughts about it. You know what I mean? Well, for me anyways, and stuff like that. When I be flying and I be up in real high places, those are like the only two times when it just reminds me of me, life in general, and it brings me down to earth real quick and shit. Real quick, especially flying. I'd be like Mr. T when it comes to flying. You guys ever watch Mr. T on the A-Team? Shit, I'd be like that when it comes to flying. I'm bad. That's why we don't be going on vacations too much, because my girl be mad. I drive, 9 hours to go to Vegas when it only takes 45 minutes. Drive to L.A. Driving to L.A. is only like 4 hours, but, you can fly there a half hour. My girl, she be tripping. But me, hell no. I just, flying, you're putting your trust within another man and shit, and that's just one thing. It's hard for me to do, is trust another man, because I just seen how these men out here carry themselves, and not everybody's stable. You know what I mean? You don't know. You don't want to put your life in someone else's hand, especially if you don't know that person. Shit, I'll go meet my pilot. I'll say, who my pilot? You know what I mean? I ain't afraid. Look at him, make sure he got clear eyes and stuff. You know what I mean? That's important, y'all. I know most of y'all, you just hop on the plane and you just think, I'm gonna go to my next flight, or go to my next destination. But you never know. You know what I mean? You got someone steering your life, and you got your life in your hands, and you don't even know who it is. It could be some Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde up in there driving that motherfucker. You know what I mean? Or it could be some, who knows? Could be some disgruntled person that came across the border. You know what I mean? You never know who's going to be in control of that at the time. And plus I know that they got stuff I hear in technology where they just override the pilot, you know what I mean? Instead of being in pilot mode, they got like hack mode and shit, you know what I mean? So I don't want to be a part of none of that. So I try to avoid stuff like that. So let's get back to what I was talking about. Anyways, I ain't got no beef with nobody. I ain't trying to pull up on nobody. I don't know why anybody would want to pull up on me. You know what I'm saying? But just don't think that I'm some soft dude out here and be trying to take my kindness for weakness or something out here. And just know that, I was born and raised out here in Cali and shit, and I've been through a lot of stuff out here, and I still be out here, right here where all the shit be. You know what I mean? So don't think I'm out here stupid out here in these streets and shit. whether it be in the streets or in mountains or anything, you know. My pops raised me to be a little survivalist. You know, I've been hunting since since you guys was playing with little toys, little kids, you know what I mean? That's why people want to talk about me and toys and stuff like that. I didn't have a lot of toys and stuff growing up. My pops, he bought me hunting knives and hunting rifles and fishing poles and stuff like that. That was my life and shit. My whole life was based on getting, you know, hiking boots and stuff like that. But it was all good because it made me who I am and shit. You throw me up in the mountain, it's like throwing that Brer Rabbit into the thorn patch, you know what I mean? Shit, I run and I survive. I thrive in that shit. I'll thrive up in the mountains. I could thrive in the mountains. I could thrive in the fucking streets. And that's what makes me who I am. So I ain't even tripping. I've been trained anything, you know. I dropped my first deer. Like I said, a few 100 yards. That motherfucker was running. One shot. And that's just how we do it out here. You know what I mean? That's just how I was raised. So everybody have a good one out here. And stay blessed and stay positive, and everybody support one another if you guys is on that good energy, you know what I mean? But all you negative energy, hating ass feeders and shit, suckers and shit, you know, don't be mad if you ain't got my support and I ain't out here, you know, fucking with you and shit, because that's just what it is. But to the rest of y'all, you know, shout out to y'all that just keeping out here and keep pushing, doing your thing. You know, I'll be right here. So, everybody have a good one. Peace out. Stay blessed.